The desert keeps calling me back to explore. Its landscapes draw me in and reveal a capacity for life that could easily be overlooked. On this trip, 5 days riding the Monumental Loop 2.75, I discover a quiet synergy between that quality of the desert and us, the women riding through it. The 2.75 version of the Monumental Loop removes the North Loop, which I rode with my son in 2023, and adds an extended western section. This version stretches to the Cooks Range Wilderness Area, the city of Deming, and the Potrillo Mountains Wilderness Study Area before reconnecting with the South Monumental Loop. Joining me on this adventure is my friend Kendra, whom I was excited to meet last year through a mutual friend. Also joining us is Kendra's friend Michelle, who I'm meeting for the first time that morning and who luckily had an opening to jump in on the trip. Today's route would take us from our motel in Las Cruces and into the Oregon Mountains Desert Peaks National Monument, where we plan to wild camp. On day 1, Kendra and I leave our motel and work our way through Las Cruces to pick up the third member of our party, Michelle, in Mesilla. It's fairly warm, about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The start of the route is mostly downhill until we enter a network of acequias, or ditches if you don't want to sound fancy, to stay off the busy roads. We meet up with Michelle and her friend Carol outside of the Spotted Dog Brewery in Mesilla. Then Carol accompanies us through downtown Mesilla, sharing some local knowledge about the area. As we ride past pecan farms, farm animals, and cotton fields, I get the sense that Mesilla is a community still rooted in its land and cultural traditions. Carol accompanied us to the edge of Picacho Peak Recreation Area before turning back. Picacho Peak, a volcanic landmark, signals the beginning of public lands. Managed by the BLM, the area is popular with hikers, mountain bikers, and horseback riders. It didn't take long before we hit our first stretch of sand, something that would be a recurring theme of the day. We got out of a very sandy 2-track onto this road, and just kind of all three of us were dumbfounded. How can we have this nice thing? But we're enjoying it. We're crossing Rough and Ready Gap. It's very sandy, but it's gotten somewhat better. As we settled into the day's riding, we discovered something pretty remarkable. All of us had ridden the Great Divide mountain bike route. We'd done it in the same year, and all as solo female riders. That, of course, gave us plenty to talk about. At one point, Kendra realized her Melanzano hoodie had shaken loose from its strap. Michelle insisted we hunt it down, and sure enough, we found it just a half-mile back on the trail. Wouldn't give up. She didn't give up. Let's see it. Let's see it. Woo! Over 30 miles in, it did feel good to stretch our legs off the bike for a bit. Further on, we found ourselves riding in a sunken arroyo. The walls became deeper and deeper until it felt more like a canyon, and we had to hike our bikes. Eventually, we had to climb out. Next, it was time to climb, which led to some spectacular views. Look at this. After the summit, rocky 2-track greeted us, opening up to wide views of rolling hills and distant mountain ranges. Later, a chunky climb dared us to ascend without putting a foot down. a challenge that Kendra stubbornly accepted.
Oh, nuts.
An equally chunky descent led us into grasslands. And then to the tank where we'd fill our water reserves for this evening and the next day. The sun was beginning to lower in the sky as we neared the base of a butte called Massacre Peak. We kept our eyes out for a place to wild camp, eventually settling on a sandy arroyo.
Okay, it's dinner time and we're gonna have a quick session to talk about our impressions of day one. So, first of all, this is Michelle. Would you like just say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I live inside of Colorado. Kendra and I have mountain biked a few times together, and I begged and asked if I could join you guys, and you let me, like 1 week to go.
I will introduce also my friend Kendra,
Yeah.
who is from Buena Vista, Colorado, and I met her through a friend, another mountain biking friend, so super cool. And this is our first bikepacking trip together, but we have ridden bikes together. So, impressions, you guys, of day one.
Sandy. Rocky.
Yeah, sandy. It was like quicksand.
Yeah, it stops you in your tracks, literally. You have to get off your bike and push, and pushing a loaded bike in heavy sand is very difficult.
We had great water sources, so that was super nice. Shouldn't have carried as much, but oh well. But some cool things, like we went through this little mini canyon with, you know, walls on either side, and had to like climb underneath locust trees with the big thorns. And then we all three helped push bikes up and out of that.
Oh yeah, that was a good team effort. I really like that. And we made our goals. We got to the place we were supposed to get tonight.
And it's gonna be warm tonight, I think. It'll be good.
Yeah, it did get really pretty warm, like right in the middle of the day. I started feeling like I was melting. So when we got to the water, I was super happy and drank a ton of water, and that made me feel good. So looking forward to it tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Today we would weave through a patchwork of lands until reaching the Fort Cummings historic site. Just beyond, we'd reach the Cook's Range Wildlife Management Area, then head south to our resupply and lodging in Deming.
This is day 2, and we're just about to get rolling out, and we're doing all of our last minute fussing, and I think probably we'll go about 10 feet on the road and realize something's not right, because that's what you do when you're bikepacking. But such as it is, it's a gorgeous day. Kendra's heading back towards the road down the riverbed, and Michelle's saying hi. Goodbye, Massacre Peak.
This isn't the first time I've bikepacked with women I just met. I've found it to be a wonderful way to quickly connect with other outdoors-minded women. In this case, saying yes to Michelle was easy. I trusted Kendra's judgment that she'd be a good fit. That trust paid off. We had similar fitness levels, and each of us was highly self-reliant. I found myself smiling a lot that day, marveling at how we took on the wind, rough trail surfaces, and scarce water without any complaints.
It's nice to have a group effort on these fences. You don't have to be the one to do it every single time. The road is constantly changing out here. You have baby heads, then to these grassy areas, nice gravel like this, and go 10 feet and there's deep sand. It's just always changing. This is so pretty.
As far as I could tell, the first 30 miles of the day crossed a patchwork of public and private lands, with a brief touch at mile 10 into the Uvas Valley of critical environmental concern, along with a couple of crossings of the historic Butterfield Trail.
One thing I noticed that you don't get from watching videos is the sense of scale. Like, when I'm here in this place, I have this feeling of being surrounded, you know. This plant comes hip high or shoulder high. The mountains tower over me. The horizon seems far, far away. And it adds to the experience when you're out here incredibly, like being able to see the plants close up, being able to see the ants crossing the trail. Just the sense of scale is what makes something that might look rather boring, like riding through the desert, actually really interesting. And I'm always asking myself questions like, why is this here? How did those plants grow there? Why is that, you know, cattle tank there? How often do they go there? I mean, you get the idea. It just becomes a constant questioning, and some of those questions I'll go back and look up later. But anyway, if you're seeing any of this footage and thinking it looks fast and dull, you'd be mistaken. We met some hunters back there, and they offered us a drink, so that was super nice. And they were very friendly and wished us a good ride. So, good people out here. Road riding, taking turns. Wind just picked up, heading towards Fort Cummings right now.
I found Fort Cummings to be a difficult place to visit. It was established to control Apache peoples native to the area and to protect the western spread of colonialism along the Butterfield Overland Stage Route. We stopped for lunch at the Cooked Spring House, a vital water source that native groups and wildlife had relied on for generations prior to Army occupation.
We're actually stopping for trail lunch, which I rarely do, and I'm really enjoying it. I've got my little tortillas with Hickory Farms cheese and sausage and gourmet mustard. And Kendra over here has a bunch of stuff. I don't know. She's eating jam, which looks really good.
I'm eating peanut butter with a chaser of jelly.
Ooh, oh, nice. Without any sort of bread?
No.
Okay. And then we have Michelle over here she's been eating Nutella and tortillas.
Nutella.
Lunch of champions.
There's actually some peanut butter in there too.
After lunch, we climbed up and away from the fort before reaching our own vital water source of the day, a lush, verdant cattle tank.
Filtering from the green water.
What you gotta do in the desert.
Next was a slogging climb in strong winds over a rough trail. Although I loved the terrain, our slow progress began to weigh heavily in my thoughts as I did the mental math of the hours of daylight we had left versus the number of miles we still had to reach for our resupply in Deming. I was hopeful that we'd have enough time to search for petroglyphs that had been reported near the part of the route we were approaching. This was something I really looked forward to seeing, though there was no guarantee we'd find them. My research showed that we were near the petroglyphs, but I knew they weren't visible from the trail. Luckily, I saw a small group of locals descending a rocky slope, and they confirmed for me the petroglyphs' location. Out of respect, I won't show here where I found them. The petroglyphs were abundant and seemed to my untrained eye to tell tales of people, animals, water, and so much more that I'd never understand. I was humbled and honored to see this piece of history. With daylight fading and strong winds building, we decided to cut the corner of our route and head southwest toward Deming. We planned to follow roads shown on our downloaded maps, knowing it was a bit of a gamble as to what conditions we'd encounter. Just miles from town, we had a tense moment as three very capable navigators each proposed a different plan for reaching the motel. Eventually, we came to a fragile agreement. Being hungry, angry, lonely, or tired are all stressors that can lead to poor decision making. And in that moment, I definitely had at least two of those. We made it to dinner, and the food rapidly refreshed our spirits. All in all, it had been another incredible day.
Leaving the motel in Deming and getting ready for another day on the trail.
Today we'd head south, skirting the east side of the Florida mountain range, then past the Tres Hermanas Mountains on our way to Columbus, New Mexico, and our campsite at Pancho Villa State Park.
Here we are leaving Deming. Beautiful downtown Deming.
On the way out of town, we encountered a field of pumpkins. Their orange domes lit up in the morning sunlight, a beautiful contrast to the surrounding mountain silhouettes.
Heading towards the mountains.
Next, we rode by rows and rows of red chilies, their tangy scent filling the air and stirring my stomach to hunger. As we rode, we often joked about being women of a certain age. That is, all of us over 50. There's an irreverence that comes with getting older. We care less about how we're perceived and more about living fully. After a lifetime of building careers and caring for children, this feels like our time. And here's a funny thing. This is what shows up when I do a stock photo search for active women over 50. Meanwhile, we're bombing down Rocky 2 track, climbing with loaded bikes, and dodging desert thorns. The mountains unveiled new rock faces and canyons as we wound around their eastern slopes, while the surfaces below us swapped between sandy gravel and chunky baby heads.
Very dangerous place for me to try to take video, but we really wanted to get an image of this cool view here.
The desert has taught me that plant communities change often due to changes in elevation, sunlight, or availability of water. Here, I was delighted to see groups of ocotillos appear, joining the ever-present creosote and yucca. And now, the tree-like yucca alata started to appear as well. Once we reached the highway, we made the call to ride this road directly into Columbus. That way we'd have time to ride into Puerto Palomas for an early dinner. Pancho Villa State Park, where we'd camped that evening, turned out to be the sleeper surprise of the trip. The docent at the visitor center told us that this was the first place air power was used by the military, in response to Pancho Villa's 1916 raid on Columbus that killed 18 Americans. Today, the park's name stands as a reminder that the border towns of Columbus and Puerto Palomas, once divided by violence, have come to recognize their shared history and learn to live alongside one another. It's the only state park in the United States named for a foreign national. With our camp all set up, we returned to our bikes to cycle several miles to the border town of Puerto Palomas. We enjoyed shopping and dining at the Pink Store before returning after sundown across the border.
Look at that sunrise. We have to get up pretty early because we have a limited amount of time to ride every day. So here's a glimpse at our camp in the dark.
Oh, dark 30.
Michelle is making her coffee. And over here, Kendra is in her tent,
Hairdresser.
reluctant to get out of her comfy, warm sleeping stuff.
Today we'll travel out of Columbus on county roads until turning south to ride through a region called Indian Basin. From there we'll connect to Highway 9 to ride east on tarmac that hugs the Mexican border for about 20 miles. Finally, we'll exit Highway 9 and enter the Potrillo Mountains piece of the Oregon Mountains Desert Peaks National Monument. We'll camp tonight at the edge of a geological feature called the Kilbourne Hole.
We have a long way to go today. Some sand, some road miles, climb. Camping out at the Kilbourne Hole tonight. So we'll see how it goes. This is our road for the next 16 miles.
Notations on the route map warn of miles of sand. You can hear the weariness in my voice as I anticipate the difficulty ahead. With more than 60 miles to cover today, I'm less receptive to anything that might slow our progress. So far, though, the riding has been smooth.
Just got to a turning point here, and there's a little ranch. We're on this road, and it says to go that way. That's gonna be our road. Okay.
This is the part of the route labeled as Indian Basin on our maps. I couldn't find anything specific about this region, but it appears to us to be a dried lake bed. I wonder how often it sees standing water. Following the basin is a long stretch of sand that becomes increasingly difficult to ride. We're relieved to hit pavement and start covering miles more quickly by working together to break the wind. Still, the horizon messes with our perception, making it feel like one line climb when the elevation says otherwise. The border wall, which looks more like a fence, stretches south of us like a black snake. I wonder how its presence affects the movement of wildcats and pronghorn beyond the people it's meant to control. We celebrate reaching the wilderness turnoff by taking a break for lunch.
We are now off the pavement, as you can see, and heading towards desert, Oregon Mountain Desert Peaks Wilderness. And I believe we have what's called the Potrillo Wilderness to our right. Anyway, we're on pursuit to the Kilbourne Hole and our camping spot for the night, which is still a little under 18 miles away. They just scraped this road, it appears. But it's pretty sandy. Right now it's smoother, but any second it could take you out. It's a workout. Those are the Oregon Mountains again. We've come all the way back to them. Won't get close to them until tomorrow though.
What appear to be mountains in this area are actually volcanic cinder cones. The ground stretching around them, collectively known as Malapis, are littered with rough, dark, jagged pieces of lava. This area is home to a plant called devil's claw. Revered by some for its medicinal and practical uses, we're careful to avoid the spiky barbs of its seed pods, which easily dislodge and latch onto bikes and shoes.
We are probably let's just say 2 miles. We're 2 miles from the finish, and it's absolutely unrideable for me. 2 miles out of a 60-mile day. They couldn't make just the last bit rideable.
So we made it to the Kilbourne hole, and it is incredible. Look at this here. This part might look like the Badlands. And then you can see cliffs.
After our trip, I had a chance to ask Matt Mason, the route's creator, to give some context about Kilbourne Hole.
Kilbourne Hole?
Kilbourne Hole. Tell me about that.
What would you like to know about it?
Well, is it a meteor? Is it a crater? Is it a volcano? How did it form?
It's called a Mar volcano, M-A-A-R.
Okay.
So I think what happened was there's magma underneath the ground, and then it hits like a pocket of water and makes it just a kind of like a big steam explosion. There's another hole similar to it just south of there also. And it just explodes and shoots rocks everywhere. And
So is it kind of like a sunken volcano then?
yeah, it's sort of where that pocket of water had been, you know, as that got superheated and sort of exploded, all that material got pushed out. That's why there's kind of a ridge around the edge where it looks like a crater.
Yeah.
Like a meteor crater. Because all that material got blasted out of there.
Here's our camp for tonight. Kendra's set up over here. And then I have my tent. Michelle's tent. And this is our little dinner area.
That's a little baby slot hanging back in there.
Day 5, leaving our amazing campsite.
Today's ride will take us out of the Malapis area towards the city of Vado on the Rio Grande. From there, we'll make the call based on weather if we'll continue into the single track system at the foot of the Oregon Mountains, or if we'll take the canal trails back to Mesilla.
Had a windy, rainy storm last night. Tonight we will be in a motel.
Leaving the campsite. That was pretty cool. The crater. Cloudy day. But we got some rain last night and the sand is a little easier.
We opted to take one last look at the Kilbourne Hole before leaving the area.
Nothing crazy.
We had two things on our side this morning. The sandy parts of the trail were mostly rideable, and the terrain was flat or trending downhill. As we drew nearer to the Rio Grande, signs of civilization became more frequent. Trains, power lines, and buildings on the horizon. At the river valley, we turned onto the canal trails, and trees with golden foliage reminded us that it was autumn. The chunky gravel required extra watts to pedal.
That's the Rio Grande. There's no water in it. Shocking.
In Vado, we stopped at Tacos El Torito for a much appreciated hot meal and resupplied at the Circle K.
Just got done with lunch in Vado. Amazing taco truck. I feel like I'm starting to refuel throughout my body. And we're about 14 miles out of Mesilla, which is going to be at the end of our route today. What an awesome place to end it. This is the dam outside of Mesilla. Lots of graffiti.
It was shocking to see the Rio Grande completely dry. It was disheartening, especially as we rode past miles of water-hungry pecan orchards and a manicured golf course along its banks.
No water.
Sunny skies greeted us as we rolled the final miles into Mesilla. We biked past the place where we'd picked up Michelle, then headed to Carol's house to take the bags off our bikes. The trip was over.
All right, we did it. Yes. So, quick recap. What were the highs of the trip?
Stars and great friendships formed and
Yeah, definitely that.
really good hard pedaling.
What about you, highs?
Put me on the spot. It was just really fun just being out there with you guys.
Aw.
I think.
It was a bonding thing.
I like that it was hard. We had all the different terrain.
Hold on a sec. I want to point out that both of these ladies called out that they liked that the route was hard.
Really good hard pedaling.
I like that it was hard. We had all the different terrain.
So badass. Okay, where were we?
I can do without sand for a little while.
There's a lot of sand. I like the petroglyphs. That was really cool. But I like the crops too. Just like seeing cotton. I've never seen cotton before. Seeing the peppers growing.
The pumpkin.
Oh yeah, we had that big field of pumpkins and yeah, like just getting a feel for the agriculture down here. That was really cool.
You know, the other high was crossing the border.
Oh yeah, crossing the
That
border
was-
into Mexico
The big store.
and having
The
some of the best Mexican food. Yeah. So thank you, ladies, for an amazing adventure and new friendships.
Yay.
Signing off. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. Special thanks to Matt Mason, route steward for the Monumental Loop. You can find the original 2.0 version of the Monumental Loop on bikepacking.com. See the video description for a link to the 2.75 route. Thank you so much to Kendra and Michelle for being excellent ride buddies and for providing some photo support for this video. Finally, connect with me on Instagram at Birds and Bikes and Ballet.